Hey, I'm Justin with AmericanMuscle.com. Welcome back to the shop and stage 2 of Project Coyote. Now, if you saw stage 1 or if you've seen any of our project car vids, then you know we're in the process of creating yet another badass street car that can also throw down at the track when the time comes. This time using our 14 here. However, this project car series features a little bit of a twist. While my team and I are building up the 14, Dave and his team are going to be building up the 06 GT at the same time, and we're going to meet at the track after the end of each build to see who comes out on top. Now, we had a great time at the end of stage 1 hanging at the track with Dave and his team, but obviously now it's time to get back to work. So before we lay out our plans for stage 2, let's recap what we did in stage 1. Appearance-wise, we called on companies like MMD and Raxium to give Project Coyote a style and lighting overhaul. Of course, the crowd favorite 13 GT 500 style wheels were added for the final touch. We then moved on to some performance basics, installing an Air Raid race cold air intake and BBK throttle body, along with Flowmaster's Outlaw Series axleback. And using our Diablo Sport in-tune tuner, we tied it all together with a custom Bama tune. When we finished stage 1, Project Coyote put down 384 horsepower and 373 foot-pounds of torque on the dyno. And at the track, we ran a 12.5, knocking 4/10 off our baseline run. After driving the car on the windy back roads and at the track, we noticed a couple of things. Our car definitely needs a drop, and it needs some help getting that power down on the ground, because honestly, man, right now it's spinning all over the place. So that's why my team and I are going to focus on our suspension here in stage 2, which will dramatically increase our handling abilities and our ability to get out of the hole when we're at the track. All right, that stance we left you with at the end of stage 1 needed to be addressed, because let's face it, nothing can kill the awesome look of a new set of wheels and tires like having the stance of a 4x4. So we figured these SR Performance lowering springs and KONI adjustable shocks and struts would be an excellent choice. The SR springs are easy on the wallet compared to other springs on the market, and they're going to drop our 14 about 1.5 inches on all 4 corners, which should hopefully give us the perfect stance we're looking for along with those 19s. Now, we actually noticed a good amount of body roll when we were taking some turns, especially at high speeds, which let me tell you can get a little sketchy. Even though we do have the lower center of gravity working for us, in addition to the firmer ride thanks to the springs and shocks, the one way to really fight this is by adding an aftermarket set of sway bars. So, sticking with SR Performance, we're going to go with their front and rear sway bar set fitting all 2011 and newer Mustangs. Now, Mike, if I'm not mistaken, man, weren't you the one that picked this out for our build?
Yeah, these were mine, and like you said, the best way to prevent excess body roll is by getting a set of sway bars. The front has an adjustable 36mm bar, and the rear is a 25mm solid, so it's really going to help us out. Now,
we do actually use a similar setup a lot of times in our bolt-on build-up cars, and I'll be the first to tell you, man, using a good set of sway bars along with a set of springs and shocks, really a good way to wake these live axle cars up, you know, handling-wise, right?
Yeah, absolutely. It's really going to help us out at the track, and especially when we hit those back roads.
All right, before we get out from underneath the car completely, I did want to touch on real quick on some of the other parts we installed. Now, rounding out the trio of parts from SR Performance for our build, the boys and I selected their adjustable panhard bar. Of course, a great live axle mod. It's going to help keep the rear end in check, and that full adjustability is going to be great for helping us dial in our optimal settings. Finally, we installed Whiteline's rear lower control arms and relocation brackets, which again will help us get out of the hole and help reduce some of our wheel hop in the process. You know, we as car people tend to get caught up in the performance side of things. Of course, making our car go faster, look better, handle better, but we can forget about one of the most important areas of our car's performance, our braking. So the boys and I are installing PowerStop's front and rear kit for Project Coyote, which do include these awesome cross-drilled and slotted rotors, which are going to help with pad bite initially and cooling, and most importantly, they're going to look pretty badass behind our GT 500 style wheels. They also include the performance pads, which again we're installing now, and Ryan, you can tell us a little bit more about these, can't you?
Yeah, we're using the ceramic pads. They're going to give us a lot less brake dust that'll get all over our wheels, so we don't have to clean them as often. They're also going to give us better stopping power at the track, and more importantly, on the street.
Yeah, and hey Laz, I think you actually suggested the power stops over those other big brake kits, man. Why is that?
Well, Justin, we're going to go with this kit here because it's going to be a fraction of the price of any of the big name kits, and it's going to give us just as much stopping power as they would as well. Now, when we factor in these Russell stainless steel lines, it's going to give us a really nice firm pedal feel. So I think we're going to bleed these up and get going.
I like it. So with all of our Stage 2 parts installed, again, to improve our suspension and handling capability, it's time for me to get on some back roads around here to see how Project Coyote feels now. All right, so we're out in Project Coyote with all the Stage 2 mods in place. Now we threw an arsenal of parts on the car. We might as well put him to a test with a big right-hander, shall we? Come up to it, rip the downshift, and hold on, man. The car really reacts well now to these mods. First things first, let's get one thing out of the way. This car was brand new when we started on it, so obviously everything was nice and tight. Wasn't as rough around the edges as the 06 GT, for instance. That being said, there was definitely room for improvement. Now the parts we used, the springs, the shocks, the sway bars, our panhard bar, the lower control arms, you know, hard to pick apart each part in terms of what it's doing for you, but working together as a whole, it's safe to say it's greatly improved our performance handling wise and even ride quality wise. Just feels tighter all around. Now in the meantime, Stage 2 is always one of my favorites, really makes the car feel a lot more alive and a lot more fun to drive. And that's going to do it here for Project Coyote in Stage 2. Keep it right here for Stage 3 though, coming up very soon, where we really start exploiting the power of our Coyote motor.